motorcycles, two completely different mindsets. One big question. If your weekends scream trails, jumps, and slides, while your weekdays are all about traffic, commuting, and potholes, in that case, should you go with a machine that's born in Japan but built in India, or the one built in India but dreaming of Dakar?
Today we are putting the new Hero Xpulse 210 against the India-spec Kawasaki KLX 230. This one is heavier but loaded with features, while this one is significantly lighter and also on the features. So here's the big question. If you could keep only one bike in your garage to commute, to explore, to fall down, get back up and do it all over again, which of these two bikes would you consider? Well, the answer to that isn't that obvious as you might think. But before we get going, if you are new to our channel, do consider subscribing to Car and Bike for the latest news, reviews and updates from the world of cars and bikes from Car and Bike.
On one side is the latest Hero Xpulse 210, India's most accessible do-it-all adventure bike, built to ride to work on weekdays, explore trails on weekends, and still be your only motorcycle if budget and parking space say one bike only. On the other hand, the Kawasaki KLX 230, it isn't pretending, nor is it compromising. It is unapologetically a trail bike first, commuter second, and a touring bike, well, not at all. It has skipped almost all electronics and premium materials to keep it raw, with only switchable single-channel ABS and a small digital dash. But in the process of it all, this bike weighs 30 kilos lighter than the Xpulse, and that changes everything.
So think of it this way. The Xpulse is a motorcycle that is prepared to take on almost anything. But the KLX is a motorcycle that comes with one singular thought: to have fun riding it. And in that process, it manages to make every trip a memorable one. So before I get to the powertrain specifications of both these motorcycles, let me give you guys a rundown on the rider triangle and ergonomics. So let's begin with the KLX 230. Now this one has a seat height of 880 mm, which is quite tall, and I am 5'7", so getting on the motorcycle, as you can see, it is a bit of a challenge but not that difficult. And since the suspension is, it is very soft in that way, so the tail squats down. So I am able to flat foot comfortably. There's not much trouble. Yes, the boots do help me to get a firm footing. But once you are on the seat, the narrow seat structure also helps you to get a firm footing. And you have a MX style seat. It is narrow, it is more on the harder side, it's firm, it's more focus oriented. So for your daily commuting and your daily runabouts, you have a nice upright riding position. When you are more focused, you are more direct, and you are in the spirited riding mode, you can shift your weight ahead, put the weight on the front, and you have a more direct riding experience. When you are belting it fast, trying to chase triple digits, you got to scoot back and you can put the weight at the rear to get more weight over there so that you can get even better traction. So that being said, you have got sort of like 3 riding positions. But along with that, the handlebar is wide and the motorcycle is light, extremely light for that matter. So it's very easy to move it around and also to steer it, to move it around traffic. It is really a piece of cake for that matter. So that's said about the KLX. Now let's move to the Xpulse. Now this one has a seat height of 830 mm, significantly lower than the KLX. To get on this one, absolutely easy, nothing as such that is a bother. And this one feels quite a lot like home. The seat, it's nicely contoured, you got a nice step at the back, so you have a little bit support for your lower back, and the cushioning is soft, and you can spend a lot of time on the saddle. There's a nice recess to keep your knees. You don't have much to play in terms of positioning on the seat, but your foot pegs, your handlebar, and everything feels nice and upright, comfortable, something for a full day of riding. this is something very comfortable. You will not get fatigued or tired over spending a good amount of hours in the saddle with this one. Uh, this one is a bit heavier, so moving it in the parking lot or in tight spaces might be a bit of a challenge, but not an issue as such that I would, point out.
A quick brief on the specifications of the two motorcycles here. The Xpulse 210 has a liquid cooled motor as opposed to the air cooled one on the KLX 230, and both bikes come with a 6-speed gearbox. For the power and torque figures, the Xpulse registers more than the KLX, but the Kawasaki wins on feel to weight as it weighs only 139 kg compared to Hero's 168 kg curb weight. But to achieve that weight, the KLX has to do with a 7.5 litre fuel tank, which is a little more than half of the Xpulse 210, which is 13 litres. So a lot more frequent visits to the fuel station with the green one. The Xpulse has dual channel ABS and 3 ABS modes, a color TFT display with navigation and call alerts, LED lighting all around and some more. Meanwhile, the KLX doesn't seem to care about the tech, so it just gets single channel ABS that can be turned off with the help of a dedicated switch and a simple small digital display with no connected features for the India-spec version.
So on paper, the Xpulse 210 feels like the ideal purchase, right? More power, more features, bigger tank, and also lesser price. Seems like the perfect package to go with. But ride these machines back to back and things flip. The KLX not only feels lighter, but feels like freedom has an all new meaning. The only problem with that, you have a firm seat, you have not so comfortable ergonomics, you have a small fuel tank, and you have a very limited electronics package, which means no dual channel ABS, no navigation, no TFT, and also no call alerts and all of that. And also, you also don't get a proper pillion seat. So before we get to the ride experience part of both these machines, let me give you folks a quick listen on the exhaust notes. So here's the Xpulse. So this one feels quite meaty and refined. That motor has definitely been worked well by Hero. So let's move to the KLX now. This one sounds a lot more raspier and angry. What do you think about the exhaust note of both these motorcycles? Let us know in the comments.
So, numbers aside, what happens out on the road then? Or when traffic begins? That's where these two reveal their personalities and also their compromises. When you swing a leg over the KLX 230, the first thought that hits you is this thing even road legal? At just 139 kg, it feels like a mountain bike with an engine. Slim, light, minimalistic, lots of suspension travel and ground clearance, and that is the way of the KLX. It might not make much sense with its offering, but it has an alter ego which takes charge once you get it off the tarmac. It's playful, it's responsive, it doesn't fight you when you make mistakes. It actually encourages you to try again, go faster, and jump higher. Throttle response is peppy and direct thanks to the air-cooled engine and short gearing. You don't ride this motorcycle, you feel it, embrace it.
If the city is your office and the trails are your playground, well then this one is your playground toy. You can jump it, slide it in the mud, do whatever you want, and yet it will ask you, is that all? Do you want to have some more fun? But then take things out on the highway, and then once you cross anything beyond 45 minutes of riding, your backside will start to hurt. And then you will also have to deal with the wind blast, and the fuel tank is already going to be halfway empty.
The KLX is brilliant in short bursts, trails, jumps, and city sprints, but long saddle hours, touring, tour riding, nope. Seat height is high at 880 mm, leaving shorter riders tiptoeing. Next is the pillion space, which is mostly just for the sake of it. And that exhaust, it sits dangerously close to the pillion's leg, so not recommended. Now, moving over to the Xpulse 210, the first word that comes to the mind is comfort. The engine is smoother, more refined, and the 6-speed gearbox means you can cruise at 80-90 kmph all day without vibrations killing the vibe. The ride quality and suspension, plush. Road bumps almost non-existent. The wider seat and upright stance means you can ride for several hours, city or highway, without the back or bottom complaining to not ride more.
This is that motorcycle that will get you to your destination in a calm, composed and a way more versatile manner. Now this one maybe not be able to jump as high as the KLX or even slide the best like that one. But this one will take you from your home to your office to the mountains and back without much to complain.
Yes, it's heavier, 168 kg, and you do feel the weight on tight trails or while pushing it in and out of parking slots. But on bad city roads, it only floats, leaving the rider free from all the bumps. On highways, it feels stable and composed. And lastly, on mild trails, capable and confident to take on task at hand. While that was all about the fun factor, what also needs to be looked into is the dealership and maintenance network, because buying the bike is one thing and keeping it running is a whole different story. With the India-spec version, the Kawasaki KLX 230 is almost 40% cheaper by localizing 95% of it here in India. Sounds terrific, which it is, but there are few concerns to be aware of. Kawasaki's dealership network is still limited. You will find showrooms in metro cities and few big towns. Beyond that, brand network is quite limited unless you are a grease monkey yourself. Also, thanks to the revised GST rates, the cost of spares has reduced, and Kawasaki additionally has cut service and spare cost prices by another 10% to make it easier on the pocket, which we appreciate a lot. And lastly, but the most important thing is that the engine comes with 10 years warranty, which is nothing but huge. In the case of the Hero Xpulse 210, although the sale of the motorcycle is only through Hero's premier outlets, the servicing and maintenance of the motorcycle can be done through any authorized Hero dealership, which is a big relief considering the current premier outlets are yet to expand well. Spare parts are cheaper and easily available, which also makes ownership a lot more simpler. So back to our question from the start. If you could keep only one bike in your garage, which one should it be?
This one isn't trying to be practical. It is more like a weekend fling that leaves you smiling on a Monday morning. You ride it for the experience and not for the features. This one is a motorcycle that doesn't scare you. Rather, it supports you. It is a machine that you can learn off-roading on, commute to work, tour to the ghats, and it will never say no.
If your riding life is 70% city, 20% highway and 10% off-road, go with the Hero Xpulse 210. It is the one bike solution that can adapt to whatever life throws your way. But if your weekdays are boring and you live for the weekends, then the Kawasaki KLX 230 is the motorcycle that will make you grin every single time you twist that throttle.
At the end of the day, it is not about which one is better. It is more about who you are as a rider. While the Xpulse will help you explore the world, the KLX will remind you how much fun it is to get lost in it. If you have liked this comparison, do give it a like and do drop in your pick out of these two in the comments, and do consider sharing with your friends, especially those who are Xpulse Pugloos or those who are Quacker buddies. I am Janak Saurabh and I will meet you in the next one. And always wear a helmet. Thanks for watching.